Hey? No, are we? Can we wait a few minutes? You ready? Okay. 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 I think we're ready to start. It's good to see you. And it's a little bit milder, isn't it? But, okay, a few more people coming in. Welcome. Okay, today's talk, I'm going to be talking to you about detoxing and cleansing our bodies. Now, how do we know we need to detox? You know, I know I've spoken to some of you individually, and I know some of you would like to do a detox, but let's just look at some of the things. Do you wake up tired in the morning? Yes. That's a sure sign of your liver is not working properly and you need a detox. Do you have a slow metabolism? Are you overweight? Do you know it's really amazing because as you get older, it is so hard to lose weight because your metabolism slows down. You know, it's so much easier to lose weight when you're young, isn't it? But when you get a bit older. Emotional ups and downs. Do we have emotional ups and downs? Thyroid issues? That's another. So many, and you know, it's like some of these are a little bit more common. I mean, when I was a young person, I'd never heard of anybody ever having thyroid issues. But now, like so many people have them. Digestive problems. How many people having digestive problems? And it's everywhere. As an aside, I believe a lot of the digestive problems people are having because we're having an awful lot of chemicals in our food, and primarily the one that's dealing and giving a lot of people digestive problems is Roundup that's in your food. That's a primary one. Skin blemishes, difficulty sleeping. That's another one. So many people have difficulty sleeping. Now that can actually be helped by detoxing. Cellulite. Some people have other problems. Cancer, chronic fatigue, depression, constipation, thyroid problems, Just basically being overweight plus lots more. So, do you think we need to detox? I believe most of us. I think we would all benefit from a detox. Now, how do we become toxic? Now, somebody asked me and they said to me, now, if you were on a super, super clean diet, do you need to detox? I actually think you still do, because we have, as a byproduct of cellular metabolism, you can actually breathe in fumes, and those fumes have to be detoxed in your body. There is so much contamination around. So, and it comes along with the food we eat, chemicals we ingest, any processed food. And most people who are if you're on a little bit better diet, you won't be as needy as to have a detox, but it does build up. It builds up over the years. Our bodies normally cleanse and repair every day. That's the function of our bodies. But when we have too many toxins present, our body is unable to cleanse up these, so it stores them. And that's why we put on weight. And we live in a toxic world. You can't go anywhere now, even when you're going out and we're going for a walk. Unless you were out in the bush where there is no one around you, you're pretty much going to find cars and whatever. And there's all the chemtrails in the sky. We have got so much toxicity around us. And we are exposed to many different pesticides and chemicals in our food, home and environment. And you look at that, a whole lot of those chemicals there, cleansing, clean. You know what? You go to most homes and you'd find that in your laundry cupboard. Not mine. You're not in yours? Well, I'm glad. You won't find it in mine. No. But most people like all these chemicals, and they do. And let's face it, if you're cleaning, sometimes one of those, if you're going to use some of these chemicals, they do the job nice and easy. But there is a payment for using them. Okay, now 80% of cancer is due to toxicity. Do you believe that? And toxins, where are they stored? In your fat cells. Okay, and that's why when people are very toxic, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. They can't lose weight. Why? Because their body knows that if we lose that weight, all of a sudden the toxicity will be let go in our body and we'll get very, very sick. So our body goes into protective mode and keeps that weight on so that it is distributed and it's not let loose in our body. But toxicity is a silent killer. And we could be developing health issues and not know it. But you know what? How often should we detox? Now, I know that you'll understand. Let's liken it to spring cleaning our house. How often do we spring clean our house? Well, some people do it once a year, but some people do it more often, but some people don't ever do it. And some people, and I say to my husband, because I have a great husband who does the vacuuming. Our trade-off in our house is he's home now all the time. I do the cooking and he does the vacuuming. And I said, look, it's time to go around the edges. You know, when you're a housewife, you know that you need to be a bit thorough than just vacuuming in the middle of the room type of thing. You need to do the edges. You need to then you've got to do windows, and you've got to do you take the curtains down and you wash the walls. There is a deeper clean that you can do in your body, in your house, and it's similar to what we do in our body. Our bodies are designed to detox every single day, but there is times when we have to do a deeper detox. Much deeper detox. Now, how often should we clean our house? Well, literally in our house, whether where we're living, but in our house that we are living in. We need to detox regularly, daily, once a year or 4 times a year. And some people say that it's really good to do a detox 4 times a year, a 3-day detox 4 times a year. different detoxes for different schedules. But I want you to remember this. You will never, ever detox if you eat processed foods. Never. Why? Because you get a whole lot of problems with with processed foods. Now, these are some of the foods, if you are thinking about detoxing, these are some of the foods that you'd need to avoid. All GMOs. Now, what foods are genetically modified in Australia? Cotton and canola. Canola. Now, if we're buying food in from overseas, we'd have to watch what we're buying, because there's an awful lot that comes from overseas. But we need to be careful, especially if your canola, your corn. And watch soy consumption. Now, if you would know, I actually have no problem with using a small amount of soy if it's organic. Do not use any of this soy protein isolate, which is not organic. That is very harmful to your health, has a lot of problems. But I have, as I said, but if I use soy, and mostly all the soy I use, I ferment. I do occasionally have, sometimes I have it, but not that much. We don't use that much milk. But if I have soy, because I do kefir and I do it on a soy, and that's a fermentation, fermented soy. But it's in many foods. Your soy is in so many foods that you don't realise. It's in a lot of your dairy products that you buy, a lot of your, not your dairy, your bakery products that you buy. Loads of bakery products. Now, this is another one that we need to be very careful of, is your altered or your trans fats. Now, what's an altered fat or a trans fat? Well, they're fats. The normal fat molecule should be nice and it should be shaped like a horseshoe. But a trans fat molecule has had its shape changed. And guess what? It becomes very harmful for our body. And what's a common trans fat that most people are eating and they're not even realising? Margarine. How many people are eating margarine, table margarine? Now, I can see a lot of people here, you're healthy, you know about it, but there's an awful lot of people out there who are still eating table margarine. And it's one of the worst things for your body. And also those bottles of supermarket oil. You know, like, I mean, I'll use oil. The oil, if I'm going to use an oil, I will use olive oil, virgin cold-pressed olive oil, and I don't cook it. And I used coconut oil. And I've got sunflower oil too, I think, at home. I've got a few other oils. I don't use them that much. But if you're going to use an oil, it has to be a cold-pressed oil, organic cold-pressed oil. All of that other oil in the supermarket is going to break down your health. All of it.
Rice bran oil?
Yeah, rice bran oil, yeah, that's fine, but I don't use much of it. The only rice bran oil I ever use is in like in a recipe when I want to make that soy cream. That's probably, and I don't use it much. But I think you can cook in it. I believe you can. I don't normally cook in it, but I think you can. It has a very high boiling point.
Yes, it's good. I've been using that one.
Yeah.
Not the use.
But watch your margarine. Be careful of that one. That's one of the... I've got a lot of information on that one. I'm actually thinking of sharing that with you in another meeting about your trans fats, how harmful they are to you. Now, gluten, that's another problem, and because our wheat has been hybridised. Now, some people believe they can handle wheat and they can cope with wheat, but some people are exceptionally sensitive to it. And some people don't even realise it, that they are. It's they have a collateral damage in some part of their body, like they've got a rash or psoriasis or something else. They don't even realise and put it back to the gluten they're eating. Okay, it increases your blood sugar, is addictive, and it causes leaky gut and inflammation. And don't we know that? Okay, now these are some more foods to remove from your diet. All refined foods. Now, what is a refined food? Well, most of that packet food that you would buy, no good for you. Bakery products. Now, I'm amazed when you look at the bakery products, what they've got in there. Most of them have got trans fats in them because trans fats actually give them a longer shelf life. So if you go into a place and you can see all these nice fancy cakes sitting in the window of the bakery, guess what? They're not healthy. No, not healthy at all. So you need to watch those things. Sugar. I have a book called Sugar Blues by William Dufty, and he talks about sugar, and he talks about the story of sugar, where it came from. And he says sugar is not a food, it is technically a poison. There's nothing in it. It is just empty food. And it will actually break your body down more so than it will. So how many people are having sugar in their stuff, in their food? Everywhere, isn't it? Sugar. We're talking about refined sugar. Now, you could, and I do occasionally use maybe a rapadura, or which is a sugar, but it's got all its minerals in it. It's not refined like white refined sugar. Although I don't use that much of it. I would use more so, if I want to sweeten something, I'd try sweetening with honey or something like that. But sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Now, high fructose corn syrup. And most people don't know that that's in an awful lot of foods, and that is even more dangerous to your health than sugar, cane sugar. So if you see fructose on the list, be careful, because they're hiding it. Corn syrup, they may call it, or high fructose corn syrup, but it's in an awful lot of your soft drinks. And so you've got a whole lot of kids, children, teenagers, they're drinking all these soft drinks, and guess what? They're developing fatty liver, because that's a byproduct of what you do to your body when you consume high fructose corn syrup. Excitotoxins. What's an excitotoxin? Now, we've touched on this over the classes that we've had. Vegemite. Yeah, Vegemite, okay. But excitotoxins are a taste enhancer, that they make your food taste nice. Now, we have MSG, there's savoury excitotoxins and there's sweet excitotoxins. And they are what they add to your food, just... Yeah, they make it taste nice. So you can have a substandard food and you can mix in excitotoxin to it, an MSG type of excitotoxins, and you will make it taste nice. You can have creamy excitotoxins, you can have a tomatoey one, you can have a beefy one, you can have cheesy one. They're like what they put, in these cup of soup type of things and these continental type of soups. They are so harmful to you. I actually went online, and there was a guy there, and it was an advert online, and I don't usually watch adverts when they come up on YouTube, but it got me interested, because he talked about the 5 different foods that cause Alzheimer's, and guess what? 3 of them were excitotoxins. The 4th was a chemical in your food. And I can't remember what the 5th one is now. Anyhow, but the 3 excitotoxins. And I thought to myself, they are linked to dementia. And that's true. Dr. Russell Blaylock, in his book, Excitotoxins, A Taste That Kills, he talks about, and he says that excitotoxins will destroy your brain cells. Now, where are we getting excitotoxins? They're in almost every processed food you buy. You need to be careful, because if you read on the label natural flavourings, guess what? It's excitotoxins.
People think that's healthy.
Yeah, you're right. People think it's healthy, but it's...
Natural colours.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, look, what is the natural flavouring?
It's
Yeah.
a marketing
marketing trickery for people.
Yes, you're right. It's a marketing trickery. You're right, exactly. But be careful. Excitotoxins and food additives are going to destroy your health. And I have been so careful over the years with what I'm putting in our house. When I'm the cook, I just avoid excitotoxins like anything. I just avoid anything that I know it's in that could be in. And you know something, it pays off, because I'm thinking, you know, if that's the case, these people with excitotoxins, because I was very interested, because I was talking to somebody yesterday and he said that his father had a hip operation, hip replacement. He was an elderly man. And he said, his father told him, he says, you know what, in the street where I live, there are 9 people who have had hip replacements in the street where I live.
There's something in the water there.
And I said, well, doesn't that tell you that we've got to be doing something, if we want to avoid that, we've got to do something different than everybody is doing. And I believe part of it is this. It is your excitotoxins. They are very, very dangerous. Remember, the book Excitotoxins says it is the taste that kills. That's his title for his book. Now, Russell Blaylock was a professor of brain surgery in America. He's a very intelligent man. And they have not been able to disprove his claims, which he has put in his book. Okay, then we go on. Cow's milk. Okay, pasteurised milk, chemicals and antibiotics. Do you know the cow's milk that they have today is not the cow's milk I grew up on? I can remember when I was a younger child, up till probably I was about 10 or that time, my parents had a dairy farm and we had cow's milk. And they sold, the truck used to come and get all the dairy's milk and the cream and all that sort of stuff. But I can remember as a family, we ate raw cow's milk. Now, as far as I believe that is, even though I know now, it's different than it was 50 plus years ago when I was 60 years ago when I was 70 years ago when I was a young kid.
Hey, like you, I grew up on raw milk, but you may remember when they introduced the cartons or the bottles of milk at school.
Yes.
I was only in about grade 1 or 2, and looking back now, I realise that I couldn't drink that. It made me vomit.
Yeah, the bottles of milk, yeah.
And then, like, by the time I was 12, I had to have my tonsils removed, and I often wondered
Yes.
whether it was the pasteurised milk, because, you know, all my life at home we had fresh
Yes, we had fresh milk too, yeah.
Yeah, I often wondered, and I think it did link back to that.
Yeah,
We
it's
grew our own
pasteurised or homogenised.
We always grew our own fruit and veggies and
Yeah,
our own milk.
we did too.
And our own meat, so, you know.
Yeah, everything. We had cow, we had sheep there that Dad would kill for food. We had poultry. We got our own eggs. We had our own garden. We had our own cows. Or we had plenty. It was all natural, but not like nowadays. Not like nowadays for sure. Then also too, the meat. I believe it's not safe to have meat anymore. I really have. And I know I may be treading on some toes here, but I believe, and I've shared with you about Dr. Colin Campbell, who was sent out by the American government to find out what caused cancer. And he found out, but they wouldn't publish his results. So he wrote his own book called The China Study. And the China Study, he proved and he shows that animal protein is the trigger for cancer and all the degenerative diseases out there. Now, animal protein, he says we have an enzyme in our liver that will actually detoxify or activate cancer cells in our body. And what determines which way it'll switch on and off is animal protein. Animal protein is the trigger. So, but it's not that, it's just all degenerative diseases. And I just think, you know, and not only that, nowadays we know somebody who is growing or has organic meat, organic cows, and he was notified by the whoever the board or whatever is under, and he says by the middle of next year, all his organic cows have to have the mRNA vaccination in it.
Well, how is that going to be organic anymore?
Well, and they still would be classed as organic.
Wow.
By middle of next year, I think it's August.
My sister had her 10 puppies and another dog vaccinated, not yesterday, the day before. They've all got the coronavirus thing in the vaccination.
There you go.
Sat down with a small eye when you look at the writing of what's on the injection. It's got a small eye in the middle, and that's the one that tells you that they've had that vaccination. And the dogs were unwell and sick the next day.
So isn't that interesting? The dogs, the tiny little dogs and the puppies,
They were 12 weeks old.
12 weeks old puppies had the vaccination. Okay, incredible.
So it's in it.
So it's in, what I'm saying, it's in everything now. We've got to really watch what we're eating now. Okay, remove these. I also still believe we need to get out a tea and coffee. Now, I'm not talking about herbal teas. I'm talking about black tea and coffee. Alcohol, tobacco, eggs, chocolate. Yeah, I can see some people screwing up their faces. Yes, chocolate. How healthy is chocolate? I've got an interest in my book. You find a section on chocolate, how unhealthy it is, and how they make chocolate, and what the chemicals in chocolate cause so many health problems. Yet I know it tastes good, but you can adjust and you get rid of it. You know.
It was interesting. I was watching a health video recently, and it was talking about like chocolate was the number one food, like organic dark chocolate was the number one food that they had on their list of foods we need daily.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought, what marketing is behind these?
Yes, I know.
Promoting. Yeah.
Okay, chocolate ice cream. Do you know there's ice cream is a combination of milk, sugar, and eggs? Not necessarily the eggs, but that combination will cause your arteries to clog up. You will get heart problems with milk, sugar, and eggs. Any time you put milk and sugar, or milk, sugar, and eggs together, it's known. Scientists have known this for years and years and years. And look, by the way, you can make healthy alternatives to all these things. That's why we want to share with you the cooking classes. You can make healthy ice cream. You can make healthy chocolate. Cheese. Yes, you can even make healthy cheese. Soft drinks. Well, I don't know, but you don't need soft drinks. You could just... Yes, you just eliminate it. Just drink nice water. You don't look... I never look for soft drink. Yeah. Look, sometimes if I ever wanted something different, I'd just put a bit of lemon in my water. That just makes it a bit of a difference. Artificial flavourings, colourings, and vinegar. Now, that's an interesting one, vinegar.
Yes, it is.
Vinegar. Even if you have a teaspoon of vinegar in your food, you eat it, it'll go into your stomach and it'll ferment, because vinegar hinders digestion. So,
Include the apple cider vinegar.
apple cider vinegar is different. I don't go there. There's a lot of people that actually have good responses with apple cider vinegar, and I let them think, yes, well, that's fine. I have it and I've used it rarely. Sometimes I use it, but I don't use it much, because you can get very much the same effects in your food by using lemon.
Yes.
And I just use lemon because it's much safer.
And vinegar's good for cleaning anyway. We've got a use for it at least.
Yeah, vinegar you can use for cleaning, yeah, for sure. And refined salt. Get rid of refined salt out of your diet. If you have salt, you need to have a Celtic salt or Himalayan salt, or the refined, not the refined one. I actually had an interesting 2 pages. One was comparing the different nutrients in Celtic compared with Himalayan, and look, they're very much of a muchness. I think Celtic could have been a touch more, but on some parts of the Celtic sea salts, it was much more, much healthier on some aspects, and then it was less on the others. So, okay. So this is the sort of food that we need to be eating. Just nice, fresh food. Yeah, there's a dandelion. Now, Now, watch your personal care items. Face creams. Remember I shared with you the end of last year how to make your own face cream? I hope some of you have done it. Shampoos. Where do you get your shampoo from? I actually have cakes of soap shampoo that my sister's made. But if you want to get a shampoo, go to your health food shop. Get a good quality shampoo from your health food shop that has all those chemicals left out. Hairsprays, watch your hairsprays. Deodorant, watch your deodorant. Talc, toothpaste. Get rid of that fluoride toothpaste that you might be having in your cupboard. Go to the health food shop, buy yourself, or you can even sometimes you can get it from the supermarket, get a herbal toothpaste. But you can use other things to clean your teeth with. You can use clay, you can use charcoal, you can use, I don't like using charcoal, not that I don't. Yeah, it makes your teeth black, but charcoal has a habit of you clean your teeth, you have no idea how messy your hand basin has to get. And you don't know how on earth, when you clean your teeth, a bit of charcoal can get over there. That's what happens when I do mine, so I don't use charcoal. Okay, but you can even use baking soda to clean your teeth. You make a mixture of baking soda and there's coconut oil, I think it is. That's a nice one. Oh, you can use other things. I remember using salt just when I was a kid. Remember that? Yeah. Lipstick. When I went into this, I was amazed how they have got so many chemicals in these things. Hair dye. Sunscreen. Well, most of people who are a little bit health aware know that you shouldn't be using sunscreen. They know that that's pretty harmful for your body. Now, what about nail products? Now, who would have thought? I had no idea that if you get your fingernails painted, there are 3 particular chemicals in there. One of them is that will stop you will not be able to lose weight. Another one is a hormone disruptor, and the other one is it disrupts your hormones. Yep, and weight. And there was something else, I can't remember now. But now, they said they tested the women who had their fingernails painted. 14 hours after they had their fingernails painted, they checked their urine and they found 7 times the amount of a cancer-producing chemical in their blood. 7 times from painting fingernails. Can you believe that? Just your ordinary nail polish. Now, I believe there are some nail polishes that some people have got that it's not in. And I actually went down to Alma Organics the other day, last week, and I saw some nail polish in there. So I would assume that that is okay, but I don't know. But I would assume it if it's, being in a place like that. But, if you go and you go past all these nail salons in the supermarket, in the shopping centres, that would be not at all healthy. And you'd be getting chemicals. And I had no idea how much you absorbed through your fingernails. I was stunned when I found that out.
I was in the bank the other day and the teller had nails done with a big lump of a stone or something on the top of them.
Yeah.
And to press the keys on the computer, she had to get her hands round like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a real trend, isn't it? Anyhow, but just realise it's bad for your health. It's not like it's just, that's no harm if I get them done. I'm not harming anyone. Well, possibly you are. Okay, teeth whitening products. Well, you can understand that because that's chemically. Okay, mouthwash, oral care, because you absorb an awful lot through your mouth. Skin lightening creams, well, I don't know about that. Although I can remember when I was a young girl, I had the brightest of bright freckles and I hated them. When you're a teenager, you hate your freckles, don't you? And I can remember, I would love to have bought this skin whitening cream so I could get rid of my freckles, because the ads you remember they used to have those ads and they'd say, get rid of your freckles, and I thought, but it costs so much, and I didn't have any money, and probably just as well, down the track. But can you remember how you read and you believe these ads when you were a kid? Okay, body lotions, perfumes, feminine products. Now, these are incredible because a lot of feminine products are made with cotton that's genetically modified, and it absorbs into your body by using these products. Baby wipes. Do you remember when you were a young mother? Did you have baby wipes like they use nowadays? We had I remember that. Well, I had face washers. Yeah, just used face washers and soap and water. Okay, makeup, decorative cosmetics. Like you said, the decorations on the eyelashes and all it's just really, really way out there, isn't it?
Gorilla eyebrows.
Yeah. And liquid.
They look so beautiful, and I think back to photos of myself when I was young. You think you look so gorgeous, you go back now and look at it and you think, really?
I know. Okay, liquid soap. And I've told you before, I have this little thing about liquid soap. Liquid soap is not good. Now, I know you may be able to find some good quality ones that may be healthier, but if you just go into the supermarket and buy a bottle of one of these pumps, liquid ones, read what's in it first before you just start using it. They are so harmful. All of these things have to be broken down in our body. All of them. And hand sanitizers, that's another question about what's happened with all this COVID thing and all this hand sanitizers. There's ways around all those things. Okay, now your cleaning, cooking, storage products. Your bleach, well, most people know that. Fabric softeners, mothballs, toilet bowl cleaners. Now, why do people have to have blue in their toilet? Because we've been told something that, we've been told that this is good, get rid of it, makes it a little bit healthier. What for? Air fresheners, surface sprays, oven cleaners, dishwashing detergents, non-stick cookware, plastic food containers. Now, I've pretty much got rid of most all of my plastic food containers, and I've got glass. I've just loved them. It took quite a time to restock your cupboard. You don't have to do it all overnight. But I've got all mine, and they have such nice little containers nowadays that they've got the plastic lids on. I have no problem with that, and I use them because the lids are not touching the food. So you put it in the fridge. Plastic food containers, aluminium cookware, and goes on, doesn't it? Now, the other thing, if we were thinking, how do we detox? We need to drink lots of water. Okay, water has many jobs to do in our body. We know it's digestion, respiration, digestion, glandular function, and so on. Excretion of wastes, even muscles, bones, and tendons need water. Mild dehydration can slow down the metabolism of the body. Dehydration causes blood to become sticky and is unable to do its work. How many people have got thick blood running through their veins? Why? Because they're not drinking enough water. Now, many people are chronically dehydrated. Okay, so how do we restore the nutrients? Through our diet. We need nutrients for cells to detox. Now, the important things, I believe, and we need to be drinking lots of green liquid, green juices, green drinks. Seeds, we need seeds in our diet. We need omega-3s, proteins, fibres, and we have cleanse. And we for years and years, we've been having 3 tablespoons of ground linseed, sunflower, pepitas, and sesame over our breakfast and you know what? I'm so used to it, and I miss it if I don't have it, but it just gives you that. You don't need to eat a lot of other food. If you have that, it tends to fill you up because it's very much that satiety for your body. Your vegetables all packed with nutrients and drink freshly made juice. Now restore your nutrients through your diet. So you can have berries, you can have coconuts, which is the easiest fat to digest. And I do use quite a bit of coconut stuff. Beans, legumes, nuts. Now remember that if you are trying to cut down on your meat and you'll decide, oh well, okay, I'll try it, you need to replace that protein. What do you replace it with? You need to get into your beans and your legumes and your nuts. Because you cannot just stop eating meat and cut it out of your diet. I can remember a woman came to me and she said to me, my teenage daughter has decided to become a vegetarian, so she just stops eating meat. I said, you must tell her that she's got to replace that meat with a protein. We need proteins, we need fats, we need all these things in our diet. You can't just stop it without knowing what to replace it with. Go easy on the fruit. Why do we go easy on the fruit? Too high in sugar. Not only that, most of the fruit that we're buying now is very low in minerals, doesn't have as near as many. They've actually tested and they found out that the minerals, they found a tree from seeds from an apple tree and they grew it, and they found that the minerals in that old seed in that apple tree was much, much more nutritious, nutrient dense than what you find nowadays. A lot of the fruit that we go in and buy is very high in sugar, very low in minerals. Yeah, it's other than the chemicals, but the fact of it is it's not absorbing nutrients. Concentrate on fresh leafy greens, even using wild plants. Now, I touched this in some of my earlier classes last year. Remember that? I don't know if anybody goes out and gets do you get the wild edibles? Yes, I know Beryl does. Okay, now, if we are thinking of detoxing, we must have our bowels working well. You must remember that if you take laxatives or have an enema if bowels are not working well. This is essential. We have to make sure. So if we're going to go on and we're going to do this detox as we're building up in this talk too, we want to do this detox, you know your bowels must be working. And if you have a tendency to get constipated, you must be ready and have on hand something like this. Magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide, they draw your water into the intestines to soften your stools and make them easier to pass. Because usually if you're going to go on a cleanse or a detox, you stop your food. So there's different forms of detoxing, but if you stop your food and you're going on a juice fast, guess what? You tend to get constipated very easy. Yeah, you haven't got any fibre. So you have to have your prune juice, exercise, drink water, use an enema. And some of you, I can still remember one of my friends, she went on this cleanse and she said she was so sick, but she hadn't gone to the toilet for something like 2 days. And I said, well, that's the reason why. You are sick, you know. And then it was going on the next day. She said, I said, do an enema. You have to get rid of it. So if you're going to do a detox, you might think of this. If you don't have an enema kit at home, it might be something that you can invest in. Know that it's worthwhile to have it. Or get yourself some magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide and try it. See if it works. See what works for you. Don't get yourself and decide to go onto a program and all of a sudden you're into it and you're constipated and you say, oh, I'm constipated, what do I do? Well, you have to think of this beforehand because some people just have a very touchy bowel and it's very easily constipated. Okay, we have to regenerate with herbs and nutrients. Okay, remember milk thistle is very good for your liver. And not only it boosts antioxidants, it detoxes heavy metal, prescription drugs, chemotherapy, radiation, and alcohol. So we can see by getting in some of these leafy greens that are in your wild, in your garden, You can actually do detoxing with it. Dandelion increases activity of liver, pancreas and spleen. What is dandelion known for? It's bitter. It's bitter. Anytime you have to do a detox, you need bitter herbs. Bitter. Lemon juice in the morning, drink, or before meals is another healthy, good idea too. You can, yes?
Is that the leaves of the dandelion?
Yes, the leaves, or you could use the root as well. You can use both. Okay, look, it's probably easier to use the leaves, but the little leaves are less bitter than the larger leaves, and you can buy yourself dandelion leaf tea. You can even buy dandelion root coffee. That's fine. That will work too. That's a good drink to have. As a matter of fact, when some people who are, my husband was talking to somebody who was very, very sick with COVID, and he kept getting COVID, and Peter said to him, get onto dandelion coffee, and that really helped him heaps.
So would you recommend even those leaves, put them in your salad?
Yes. If you're going to put in the salad, generally you would put in the smaller ones because they're less bitter. But, you've got to be ready and knowing what you're eating because, and sometimes I've done a lot of wild green salads, but I tell you what, if you put on a good dressing, it'll help. A good dressing is essential. Bernice, do you remember when we were down... Bernice helped me we were down at Highwood, and we went around picking, and we had this huge bowl full of salad greens, wild greens, and we put over a dressing, and everybody thought, oh, these are very nice, and it turned out very nice, the whole thing.
We were fortunate because they were all nice and fresh. They weren't
Yes,
old and
yes, that's right. We had but there was, some of them said, wow, that really made my bowels work. Remember that? Yes. Okay. Clay and charcoal. Now, this is something else too to have on hand regularly at home is clay and charcoal. Charcoal, bentonite clay or activated charcoal can remove diseases, bacteria, fungi, parasites, chemicals, toxins, viruses by adsorption and absorption. You can use it internally or topically. So I use both. I like both of them. And it's really handy to have. And it doesn't do you any harm, maybe once a week, to have a drink of charcoal drink or clay drink. You can have it every day, but that's like a poultice drink. It's like poulticing, and you're taking it out and absorbing all the toxins, and the toxins will bind to the molecules of the charcoal and the clay, and you'll just excrete it out when you go to the toilet. So that's worthwhile having there. Clay is similar. Clay, what I do with clay is I actually mix 1 part of clay to 10 parts of water. One part of clay, I pop it in my blender and I blend it for probably about 1 or 2 seconds. Then I tip it straight out into a glass bottle, because what your metal, even the metal in the blender blades, will react to it, but not in that, in a few seconds. Okay, so you got this in a glass bottle. You let it sit there for probably a couple of hours. Then that's your concentrate clay. And what you do every day when you take it, you just put about 1/4 cup in the bottom of a glass and fill it up with water. So you dilute that again, okay? And that glass bottle full of clay will sit in your cupboard. You do not have to refrigerate that, and can sit in your cupboard for a year, and you'll come back to it and it'll still be okay.
You keep topping that up with water?
No, normally I just use it up, then I'd make another lot. Yeah.
Is that clay, has that sediment?
No, it doesn't settle. This, because bentonite clay doesn't settle. Some of the clays do settle, and you'll find the sediment at the bottom and there's just water on the top, and you have to shake it. But bentonite clay doesn't, and it'll stay in suspension. Okay, and but yet if you go about wanting to drink a teaspoon of clay in a glass of water, you'll put it in the water and it'll just float on the top. you won't be able to won't be able to stir it in. So that's why this is the better way to have it. And you've got it in your cupboard, and every day or every time you just want to take a charcoal drink, you can just take it. Now, when you're taking charcoal and clay, you must take it away from medication. Take it away. So if you've got any medication, you need a 2-hour window on either side of your medication and take it then, because it'll absorb your medication too. Plus, you need to drink lots of water with it because it can constipate. Okay, regenerate with fermented foods, kefir, sauerkraut, miso. And remember, 80% of our immune system is located in the digestive tract. And bad bacteria produce their own toxins that influence our hormone balance. You could also make a detox drink, which you can add to a glass of water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of lemon juice, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, cayenne pepper, ginger, turmeric, and a teaspoon of raw honey. And you can take that during the day. That's a good detox drink.
Just leave it up for a minute.
You leave it up for a minute.
Yes.
Write down somewhere else.
Yeah. Take 3 times a day, 15 minutes before meals for 30 days, then 1 time per day before each meal.
Is that in the green book?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you got it in your recipe book?
Tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, tablespoon of lemon juice, 1/8 of each of the next 4, cinnamon, cayenne, ginger, turmeric, and a teaspoon of raw honey. Sometimes it's good to have these mixed up, then you don't have to just mix them up on the spot, you know. That's what I find even with the clay. Much easier to have them mixed up ahead of time. Finished now?
So you don't dilute that, you just have it.
Yeah, well, you put that in a little bit of water. Add to a glass of water. You slow writers. Yes, it's all on the video, yeah. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, fresh or powdered nutrients. Now, it's really, I absolutely love barley green. I have no problem, though, if you decided to do wheatgrass, spirulina, chlorella, all of those green, leafy greens, excellent. So, we need to get green into our bodies, most important. And I would say you need to have green every day in your body. And so it's very, sorry?
Barley leaf powder of wheatgrass. Do they have gluten in it?
No.
So these do stay.
No, it's gluten-free. Yeah, okay. I have that asked of me. I've got some bags down the back. I do sell barley leaf powder, and so I put some in there in case anybody wants to get them.
How much?
What's that? Oh, look, a teaspoon a day at least. We actually take two teaspoons a day. And when we take it, we actually mix it up and take it with a little bit of citrus. So we'll squeeze out a lemon, or an orange, a grapefruit, or any citrusy sort of fruit. Then we top it up with water, and then just put your powder in there and take it. And we have other powder. We take our turmeric and our cayenne pepper and our maca and our hawthorn berry in the same mix. All of it together. It just goes down in the one drink. But if you add vitamins, your citrus fruit to it, it uptakes the vitamins. You uptake iron better. I better get myself right here. Okay, it increases the uptake of iron in your body when you take it with vitamin C. I think this is one of the best things that we've been doing. Peter keeps saying to me all these years, this is probably one of the best health benefits that we've been doing for the past 30 years. It shows now, something is working because we are feeling reasonably well. We're not sort of feeling tired, I've got stamina to go through everything. I'm not waking up tired in the morning, but we've been doing barley leaf powder for years and years and years. And it's worth it. Okay, fresh or powdered nutrients. You can have, you can make up a green drink. You blend leaves in your water and strain. Remember I talked to you about that in some of the other classes. They detox cells from pesticides, chemicals, radiation, heavy metals. And one of the best ones is turmeric because it fights any inflammation. That's why we just add turmeric. Did I say we have added turmeric to our drink there in the morning? Cancers and Alzheimer's. We have that drink, that barley green drink, just in the morning, just before we eat our breakfast, and then it's over and done with. Yeah. Yes?
With the turmeric, do you put the crushed black pepper?
I don't use crushed black pepper. I know that they say it's a better one, but one of my friends was saying that she said you can actually use cayenne to it. Cayenne increases it too. She said that's safe too. But I don't know. I just take the turmeric like that. We just stir it in.
How much cayenne do you put in that mixture?
Depends how much you can take. Okay, if you can only take a little bit at first, I would suggest if you start off, you could only take 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon. Build it up. Get yourself that you can take a lot more. Because most people, if you're not used to taking cayenne, you can get it. It's quite hot. Yeah, quite hot. Okay, now you can use a detox bath. Now this is something I believe we don't use near enough. Did you know that you can detox your body by bathing? Look, it is so. You can bath in Epsom salts. You can bath in clay, bentonite clay. You can even put garlic in it. In my book, there's a garlic bath in the book. But your ultimate detox bath is 2 cups of Epsom salts, a cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/2 cup of bentonite clay, some bit of essential oil. Soak before you go to bed. Now this is one. You can use a detox bath. Now I've used a different detox bath when I'm actually sharing and helping people come off. You can actually I usually do it. It's got cayenne and it's got mustard and ginger in the bath, really to heat the person up. Yes?
Will the bentonite clay wash out of towels or stay?
I don't really use it in towels.
But if you've got it in the water in the bath, but won't some of it stick to your skin? Or?
No. It usually goes down the drain hole. Yeah.
Clean the drain out too.
Yeah. Okay. But rebuild with healing therapy. Now this you can do a clay wrap, a bicarbonate wrap. Now in my book there was this bicarbonate wrap. That's something else. One day we could even show you how to do a bicarbonate wrap. Okay, I know. I think it wasn't Meredith. She was doing she was doing just the normal wraps. She was telling me how she was doing them. I don't wonder how she was going on with it. You can do steam or infrared saunas. Now, that little middle picture there, we actually have one like that, which we bought like 30 years ago, and it was a blow-up steam sauna. It's got a little generator, and it's like made of rubberized, like a air mattress sort of material, and you blow it up, and it stands up, and you can sit in there, and you can have a little steam generator in there. Or you can buy one of those other ones like in the middle there, that's a steam generator tent. Or the one on the right is an infrared sauna tent. Now they are little personal ones that you can get in your bathroom. Look, you could probably get them for maybe, the steam one is probably about 100 and something. The infrared one is about 200 and something. Although, you might be able to find somebody who you know who has one of these beautiful cabinets you can sit in, those infrared cabinets. But your saunas are excellent to detox with. Okay, sun bath. Well, we don't have that much sun around nowadays, but have a sun bath, but they are excellent too. Wet sheet wrap, that's what I was talking about a moment back. Hot and cold showers, cold mitten friction. Now, what's a cold mitten friction is when you just get in your bath. You can do it with a dry brush before you get in the bath. You brush your skin all over your body and then you get in the bath or the shower. Or you can be in wet and you can have those mitts on. You know, you buy those mitts from the supermarket and you can just rub over them. They're ideal too. So you can detox quite nicely using these methods. Yes?
A question, how do you get around using the water that's...
Look, you just got to use the best you can. We're fortunate, we actually put a filter on our whole house. But I know not anybody. You just got to do the best you can. I believe if you're having a bath, though, if you're having a detox bath, all that fluoride and all that would be contained and drawn into that clay. Yeah. Okay, rebuild with healing therapy. Now, one of our classes we went through breathing, learning to breathe correctly. Spend time with God. That's so important to get the mind aspect right too. Drink lots of water and do not overeat. So important. Now, another thing you might want to come across is a castor oil pack. Now, I bought one in here to show you. This is the picture of it here. I bought it online, castor oil pack.
That's what it's called.
It's called the castor oil pack. You probably find around about $20. You might find them cheaper. You might find them $25. They've got some the side there, this side you just put a little bit of castor oil on. Then you just put it on over your liver area and you bring the elastic around and you fasten your elastic. There's a button there and you just fasten it over the button.
Question, Kay. How much castor oil do you
Oh, look, I would put probably about 3 tablespoons on there, 3 tablespoons.
count the bottle?
You make sure it doesn't seep out anywhere. You'll know how much to put on there, okay? There's a little, actually that's the way it goes on. There's a little zipper here that you can actually insert a hot pack in there if you wanted to. So, but that's ideal. Now, if you can wear that under your clothes during the day and it stays in place because of that elastic, you could, if you like it during the day, or you could wear it at night time. And I just think that they're ideal. They're not that expensive, and yeah, get a castor oil pack.
Is that a detoxing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, castor oil is what if your liver needs to be detoxed. So this is going to detox your liver.
Hexane-free.
Hexane free. Yes, get castor oil hexane free. Castor oil packs. We need to find someone to buy some castor oil packs. So sometimes you can buy a whole lot and you get the postage free. Yes, you could. But quite frankly, I looked at it and I thought, you know what, I couldn't be bothered making that.
Yeah, you get past that, don't you?
And the elastic, and it's already designed, and you know, it's got a button there, you know, and yeah.
I put it on my back when my back's hurt. I put it on back to front.
Yeah, you put it on your back for a bad back. You can actually put it on your chest for chest congestion. You could use it anywhere. It's a pack to go anywhere. I think you can even buy ones that go on your eyes too, because castor oil on your eyes is exceptionally good. An eye pack at night time, exceptionally good for your eyesight, for detoxing that eye socket area too. And I have a theory, and it's only a theory. I believe a castor oil pack over your eyes would stop cataracts from forming. That's my theory. I've got to prove it.
I've got cataracts and I just wipe my eyes every night with the castor.
Yeah, wiping your eyes every night. Get yourself a little bottle of castor oil beside your bed. Put a little bit on the tip of your finger and just wipe it, like paint your eyes like you're painting eyeshadow on. Yeah. If it gets into your eyes and it stings a bit, that doesn't matter. That's fine. But and a little bit will. It will sting a little bit, but it's fine. It won't hurt you. You won't, you know. Okay, consider a liver detox. Now, if you're going to have a liver detox, my suggestion is to go to the health food shop, just buy a good preparation ready made up that you're going to detox your liver with. Swedish bitters is a very good one to have on hand. Consider a parasite cleanse. Now, parasites are so everywhere. They're just everywhere. Okay, you can eat raw garlic, pumpkin seeds, pomegranate, beets. But this is another thing I would suggest if you really think, oh, well, maybe I do need a parasite cleanse, get yourself... In the health food shop, they have good blends, and you can just buy little tubs. Oh, that's a good parasite cleanse. Diatomaceous earth, too, that will actually kill parasites. One researcher found that a mixture of honey and papaya seeds cleared stools of parasites in 23 out of 30 patients. I must have went through too quick there. Consider a heavy metal detox. You can use chlorella, cilantro or coriander, spirulina, garlic, curcumin, apple or citrus pectin, and milk thistle. Plus, you could also, for a heavy metal, you can use CDS. Now, some way fungi affects our health. Arthritis, indigestion or digestion, which is Crohn's or irritable bowel. Asthma, mental health, cerebral health, skin disorders, heart health, allergies, sinuses, women's yeast-related problems, men's health issues, pain and fungi, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, endocrine problems, hypoglycemia, infertility, ear problems. Now, these are all linked to fungal problems, and I believe almost all of us have got a fungal issue. I really believe it because we're just surrounded everywhere. Eye diseases, cancer, autoimmune diseases, obesity, anorexia, hair loss, and it goes on. Now, how do we conquer Candida? It's a hard one, very hard one. Starve the fungus of all sugars. Exception, Granny Smith apples and grapefruit. And yeasts, no yeast spreads, nothing, no yeast bread, well, you shouldn't be having Marmite or Vegemite or anything like that, but that's a yeast spread. Soy sauce and alcohol. Any cooked food over 2 days old. Corn and wheat and grain are extremely vulnerable to fungal growth when they are stored. Watch peanuts. Your meat. Why meat? Because your animals are commonly fed mouldy grains. And be very, very careful that you don't have any mould or fungus in your home. People who have a mouldy house can get quite sick from it. Okay, garlic, olive leaf extract, portiaco. You can have a form of Colorex capsules. Coconut in all forms is very good for antifungal. Grapeseed extract. All legumes, particularly soy, contain antifungal properties. All your raw nuts and seeds contain antifungal properties, except peanuts and pistachios. They are actually particularly susceptible to fungal growth. Culinary herbs, thyme and turmeric are particularly high in antifungal properties. And how do we restore the balance? Well, lactobacillus, drugs, antibiotics, you've got to get all those things out, which I was just talked about there earlier on. Put your probiotic food in. That will help balance it. But can I tell you, I have found especially for Candida, this is probably the best. Pure gum turpentine. Now, I've got to show, in my book it tells you how to take it. You can get this from Bunnings, but remember it is pure gum turpentine. It is not mineral turpentine. It is a gum turpentine. It probably costs $20-something, yeah, you're right. And it's worth it because it lasts forever. Okay, so I'd like to take it once a month, but I know if I feel I think, oh, I've got a bit of itchy eyes. You know how sometimes you just know your eyes are itchy or your ears are itchy? You think, I've got a fungal overgrowth. All I do is take some pure gum turpentine and it's just gone.
How much would you buy?
I buy sugar cubes. The only time I would take sugar cubes, but I stack up 3 sugar cubes and I pour in just under a teaspoon, a scant teaspoon, over those sugar cubes. And it has to soak through into 2.5 of them. If you've soaked the 3, it's too much turpentine. It needs a little bit of sugar as a bait. As you chew them up, they're like lollies. They're not. They're not disgusting. They're not disgusting. Erica, you think they're disgusting? Yes?
I've had excellent success with bay leaf tea. I grow bay
Yeah.
tea and I just pour that in boiling water, probably in a litre, and just sip it throughout the day. And I have, every time it just goes.
There you go. Bay leaf tea for candida. That's another one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying about the bait. What's the mechanism there?
The bait, the sugar acts as a bait, and when all those bacteria and those fungus that are in there, they say, here's food coming, and they go and eat it, and because it's sugar, they get hit with the turpentine and it kills them.
Personally, I put too much turpentine on mine. I know I did.
Now, you're not to put too much. The instructions, if you saturate the whole 3 sugar cubes, you put too much on. You need only 2.5.
I haven't done it since.
So yeah, that's why.
Would that work better if you fasted a little bit beforehand?
Oh yes, actually, I find it if I'm eating, because we eat twice a day. I will have this in the evening. I find that if I have it with food, it tends to repeat on me. I can taste it, and I can burp, and I burp up turpentine. So I find if I put it at night and then I go to bed on it, it's fine. And I wake up in the morning and it's fine. I don't even notice it. It's like Another one too is chlorine dioxide solution, which is something, if you don't know what this is, last year I did a whole show on it, and you need to go on there. But that is super, super excellent for candida, parasites, heavy metals, and viruses. Did I say bacteria? It's excellent for all of those things. So chlorine dioxide. Fulvic acid is another thing too. It's a powerful detoxifier. It's naturally found in soil, humus, and certain organic materials, but depleted in most soils. And it chelates heavy metals and toxins. For example, lead. Enhances nutrient absorption of food and probiotics. It's an antioxidant. An anti-inflammatory effects, neutralises free radicals and oxidative stress, and supports gut health. Now, let's say if you want to start, we decided to do a detox. First thing it's idea is find a friend who will encourage you. It's nothing worse than being all alone on an island and you feel like, oh, it's so hard.
Your family, what are you doing that? You're crazy.
Yes, yeah, we're told we're crazy. Yeah, you need to have somebody support you and somebody say, oh, look, I'm feeling crook. What do I do? Because a lot of remember, you're going to often feel sicker when you start detoxing. Consider the benefits and ask God to help. I believe that's important. And you know what? Don't wait until you get into this situation. A detox is not going to help that person. As I said, I was talking to this fella yesterday, and he was talking about how he's got 2 knees, both have to be replaced. And he says, but the waiting list for it is like 5 years or something. I said, well, you can do things in the meantime. You might never need to have your knees replaced. You can actually do detoxing, and guess what? Your knees are not going to be sore after all. Why is it that everybody now has got to have a knee replacement or a hip replacement? All of these replacements. Isn't that telling everyone that people are putting something's wrong in their diet? Well, I know that, but our bodies are designed to last. They're not designed to get old. You don't need to be like this fella, because no amount of detoxing is going to help this fella. You get that stage, you've got to do it earlier while we're still able. Now, the first step we've got to do is give up processed foods. Now, I've put a can of Diet Coke in there. It's not just Coke, it's Diet Coke. Now, Diet Coke is even worse than Coke.
It's even worse, yeah.
Okay, people think, oh yeah, I'm getting on the better bandwagon here. No, but Diet Coke is much worse because it's got the excitotoxins in it. Okay, and all the other things there. First step, processed or fast foods. Okay, next step is your meat and your fresh vegetables. And I do admit, some people who are have eating meat and fresh veggies and that can be a lot healthier than some people who are vegetarian, who are eating all processed vegetarian stuff. I do admit that. But that's your next step. Remember, I've talked to you a little earlier about the meat. Then the third step in your journey would be a lacto-ovo-vegetarian. But this is using processed soy, burgers, milk, cheese and eggs. Okay, yes, it will help you to a degree, but it's still too processed. Too much processed food in there. Then you can go to a vegan vegetarian, a little processed food, but you know how often you have your little carrot bar and your muffin or whatever you have, I mean, they're all healthy, but they're still problems. Then this is where I'm coming to. This is what I believe we need to do. A plant-based or no refined or processed foods. All that beautiful food. Whole food plant-based diet is what I'm talking about. Then the sixth step is raw foods. But you need to know what you're doing. I just feel like a sneeze coming on. Okay, it's gone, I think. Okay, you need to know what you're doing. If you're having all raw food, you've got to know what you're doing. I never forget a friend of mine who is taking people through all these cleanses says, you don't know how many people have come to me and they're on a raw food diet and they've got all their everything is out of kilter. You've got to know what you're doing if you go on an all raw food diet. But it can be extremely beneficial to you. So you need to, if you're on a raw food diet, you need to have a lot more sprouted foods in there. You need to have sprouted legumes, sprouted grains, sprouted whatever. Even your nuts and your seeds can be activated, which make them even more nutritious. Okay, and then the next step, you can do a juice fast, a water fast, or a fruit fast. Now, but be ready for what's ahead. Remember, as I said before, if you start on a fast, you will probably suffer from the Herxheimer effect. And depending how toxic your body is, will depend how sick you get. And you will feel worse before you get better. And get moving. I can remember I was watching a DVD by Dr. Gabriel Cousens, who was taking a whole lot of people in to his clinic in America. He's an American doctor who was treating a lot of patients with diabetes. And he would take them in. He wanted to get them and reverse their diabetes. I think it was 30 days or something like that, reverse diabetes. And he could do it. But there was one person who couldn't reverse because they were hugely, hugely overweight people. And they were very sick patients. And those that moved and exercised were fine. But there was one person there that gave it all up because they couldn't handle it. But all day long they were just sick, lying around feeling so sick and feeling so sorry for themselves. Yes, you will feel sick and you're sorry for yourself. But if you move, it's going to get everything moving and you're going to feel a little bit less sick and sorry for yourself. You still will, all of that toxicity has to come out. Okay, get moving, drink lots of water, even herbal tea, and don't feel sorry for yourself. Be ready for something better. And remember, all of these foods that I've told you that you can cut out, we've got recipes that you can replace them with. You can put healthy food in it. Even healthy cakes and healthy desserts and healthy sweets. I'm not saying that if you're on a detox to do that, but we can, Now, another thing that you can do is a 3-day water fasting. Has anybody done a 3-day water fast? There's been a few. 2-day fast, a 3-day fast. Yeah, we've done a 3-day water fast, and I tell you what, some people, one of my friends, she's done a 7-day water fast. She reckons it made her feel wonderful. What does it do? It cleans the brain and resets the energy. Improves your immune dysfunction, repairs damaged cells, removes dysfunctional cells and pathogens, reduces neuroinflammation, increases autophagy, breaks down cells and pathogens, decreases autoimmune disease, benefits gut flora, and increases your DNA repair. Okay, I have a book at home and it's on fasting, and I was absolutely amazed to read in there was this Olympic ice skater. Yeah, I loaned you the book, didn't you? Do you remember reading that story, Beryl? Yeah. That Olympic ice skater had an injury and to his leg. He hurt his leg, and I thought to myself, what? How? But he decided to. They offered him an operation, and they didn't guarantee anything. But he thought, no, he's not going to go an operation. And he decided to go. And was he a doctor? I think he was a doctor. He was a medical doctor, and he decided no. His father told him about fasting. So he went on a 32-day water fast. After that, and he went to a clinic. He was because they have... Yeah, he was monitored because, if you're in that sort of water fast, you need to know what you're doing. Anyhow, he came back and his leg completely healed. And I couldn't imagine that. This is a leg injury that it healed. I just amazed me that, and he went on to, and he won a bronze medal at the Olympic Games, ice skating for America. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. So your water fasting does incredible things. And I found it very interesting because since this COVID injection came out, some people are getting very, very sick from taking in the injection. And I've been trying to look for some answers. I'm trying to look online. Where can I go to help people? And do you know what? Has anyone heard of Dr. Henry Ely? He's a doctor who is treating people who have had a lot of COVID injury, and he said the very first thing he says, a 3-day water fast will reset their body and it'll get them back to normal. 3-day water fast. So what does it do? You have to be careful if you have these things, if you go on a 3-day water fast. Insulin-dependent diabetics, menstruation, hypoglycemic, and if you're on lots of different medications. Okay, so you need to be I think I would, for a woman, just avoid that time of the month where she would be menstruating. Your 3-day water fast. Now, after 8 to 12 hours, your glycogen and glucose stores go down and your insulin goes down. But your hormones increase, your ketones from your fat increase, and you experience hunger. Now, that happens after 8 to 12 hours. But you look after 18 to 24 hours, you have a further depletion in glycogen stores. Your gluconeogenesis produces sugar to the liver, which fuels your body. Your autophagy. Now, autophagy is something which is important for eating. It eats up your damaged your damaged cells in your body. It clears up. It detoxifies your body. It's like those phagocytosis. It's all those white blood cells that go around and eat up the debris in your body. That's what happens. And it increases after 18 to 24 hours. Your autoimmunity, often foods trigger autoimmunity process goes down, neuroinflammation goes down, your drive neurotrophic factors and your high human growth hormones go up. And now this is the next day. You have more of these hormones going up. You have your more autophagy. That's your breaking down and clearing out proteins, amyloid plus more. Your amyloid is the deposits in your brain that cause Alzheimer's. So this happens after day 2. Your mitophagy gets rid of your inefficient and damaged mitochondria. Your insulin resistance improves in diabetics. Your fatty liver goes down. And your hunger pains subsided. I don't know about you, I felt pretty hungry right up to my 3 days. Pretty hungry. I think we went 4.5 days. We thought we'd go a bit longer, but I felt I was ready to give up. Okay, but your 3-day water, on day 3, you still have that continual cleaning out and reversal of your chronic diseases. And your immune function improves and resets stem cells, and you have an increase in stem cells. Now, they say after your 3 days, then all of a sudden it kicks in and you don't get hungry anymore. Your hunger subsides, which you need to, because otherwise you'd be hungry as anything. To break your fast, be very, very careful. If you're going on a 3-day water fast, I wouldn't, if I was suggesting something here, you don't need to even aim at a 3-day water fast. Aim at a 1-day water fast. It is so easy to do a 1-day fast. Completely just water. It's not hard at all. Just 1 day. But if you were going on a 3-day water fast, I can remember when I first got off it, you wouldn't even need a quarter of an apple. That's even too much. You would even a smaller piece. It's just, you cannot, your body just, everything shuts down. You've got no digestion there and it just would sit there. You'd have to chew and chew and chew it to make sure you've broken it down before you eat it too. You can use distilled water and mineral and sea salt and sparkling water if you wanted to break your fast. Now, if you decided you wanted to go on to 1 meal a day, now this is another form of fasting, and it's not hard to do 1 meal a day. But if you do 1 meal a day, you need to make sure that you have a substantial meal. You don't want to have it sort of like just a bowl of cornflakes and have a breakfast like that. That's not what you're talking. We're talking about a meal that's solid. Look at all the benefits of it. Improves autophagy, lives longer, no cravings, better skin, decreases inflammation. This is interesting because a lot of people have inflamed. Heart disease improves dementia. Who's telling people if they've got dementia that they need to eat less, and have a fast? Okay, now, but this is something that I wanted to talk to you about. Intermittent fasting is only something I have learned about probably in the last 5 years. I didn't know it but we've been practicing it for the past 30 years, Peter and I.
Same with me, most of my life.
Yeah. But we've called it 2 meals a day plan. I didn't know, but they've coined it intermittent fasting. What's the difference? Well, are 2 meals a day better than 3? This is the answer. It says improved insulin response, reducing type 2 diabetes risk. You have a better quality sleep. You reduce any inflammatory arthritis. You maintain of muscle mass with weight loss. Reduced risk of brain disease such as Parkinson's and dementia. Lower risk of some forms of cancer. Now, 2 meals a day diet is unique that it doesn't dictate what you can or cannot eat, only when you can or cannot eat. The only rule is that you eat only twice per day, no snacks and no other meals. So you have 2 meals. We actually have it breakfast, lunch. Not one thing between meals, not one thing outside that. So you have only 2 meals. And you know what? Your digestion loves it because it's not working all the time. Now, if you decide that's inconvenient, you can move your meals, like some people have at lunchtime and an evening meal. Now, that's not wrong, but for us, it doesn't suit my lifestyle because I like to go to bed on an empty stomach. And I have no problem just to eat those 2 meals a day and you know what? You feel good. What happens? You must know you don't overeat. Eat low glycemic foods. So don't eat high carb foods. You got to eat good solid foods that keep your blood sugar stable. Fill up on fibre, protein, healthy fats, and it takes longer to digest and slow down the release of glucose into the bloodstream. Drink plenty of water. Many mistake hunger for thirst, and play around with meal timing. Work out what suits you. And remember to eat loads of fibre in your beautiful food, just your normal old vegetables and fruit and nuts and seeds and grains and okay. Now the next thing here, now you won't be able to read all that, but what I've done, this is a juice fast. What I did was and I worked out what we're having. This is a juice fast. Let's say we're going to do a 1, 2 or 3 day juice fast. And at 8 a.m. you have a juice. 10 a.m. you have a juice. 12 noon you have a juice. 2 p.m. you have a juice. 4 p.m. So you have 5 juices during the day. And then the last juice at night time is not a juice. I should say it's a vegetable broth. Now that is what you would find. If you went to Misty Mountain Health Retreat, if you went to any of the health retreats, that's what you would be given. That's the diet that you'd be on. And what are you on? You have 80 juice, and then it says the juice and the powder. Now if anyone wants this, I've got this all written out. I can email it to you. If you email me, I will give it to you. And I've got it ready there, and it tells you how much carrot, celery and apples. The next drink is apples and ginger. The third one is carrot, celery, apples and beetroot, apples, cucumber, greens, and then carrot and pineapple. Now you do not have to use those fruits. If you have a glut, now I often used to say, well look, let's do a vegetable cleanse if I've got my garden in season, when I've got a lot of cucumbers there. I said, okay, we're going to put a lot of cucumbers through it. And I would put zucchini through it. I would put all these things that I had in lots of that you have in your garden. Okay, there's no rule that says you can't do it. Now as I said, that chart, and remember to drink water between your juices. So you're getting a lot of liquid into your body. So you're having 5, and that is not hard to do. 8, 10, 12, 2, 4. And I have had some people, they don't even feel like the 4th, 5th juice. They can stretch it out a bit longer. And that's fine too. Okay, then this is the second. I've actually gone through it and I've worked out, this is it for 2 days, how much Granny Smith apples. I need 1.4 kilograms. I need probably about 3/4 of a whole pineapple. I need 3 kilograms of carrots. I need a knob of ginger. I need a bit of celery, half a kilogram of cucumbers. Can you see what I've already mapped it out? Now that's roughly. You're not going to get it exactly because all your vegetables don't contain exactly that amount of juice. But it's roughly, it gives you an idea of, if I'm going to do, how many carrots do I need? Do I need a huge bag of carrots? No, you only need 3 kilograms of carrots if you're going to do it like that. So I've worked out here how to do it. Okay, now what I do is I make up my juice. I've got a juicer that you can actually juice and it doesn't oxidize. Now some of the juices do, the better quality juices don't. And so you can I put my juices in these bottles. I've got a lot of little brown bottles like that. And I put a lid on it and I fill it up brim full so there's no air in ore and I shut it up, I'll pop it in the fridge and that will keep for 2 days in the fridge because my juicer doesn't oxidise. So I make enough for 2 days and that beats this every time you want to have it, you know. Just you're going to have one time when you're doing all the juicing and then you can wash your juicer up, put it away and you don't need to worry about it anymore. Okay, now the other thing is too, which we're not covering here, but you need to also get rid of toxic memories. This involves self-examination, talking with God, asking for forgiveness and believing God forgives. So that's part of it too. Now, this is the next one I want to talk to you about. It's called a fruit fast. Now, I believe out of all of these, this is nearly the easiest to do. Why? Because you don't have that huge outlay of all that juice, you know, those vegetables. This you're eating 3 meals a day. Now, even though I normally eat 2 meals a day, when I'm doing this, I will eat 3 meals a day. Because for my morning, I have morning, lunch and evening. I have 2 pieces of exactly the same fruit. For instance, I will eat 2 apples for breakfast, 2 oranges for lunch, 2 bananas for evening meal, or whatever fruit. You can have any fruit. Let's say you would decide, I've got some grapes. You'd work out about how many grapes are in the size of 2 apples, and you eat them. But when you eat them, you have to be eat slowly and chew thoroughly. You do not mix different fruits at one meal. So that means at my breakfast, I don't decide I'll have an apple and an orange at breakfast. No, you have 2 apples, the same fruit. Or a bit of pineapple, I would have the amount of pineapple at the same fruit. Whatever the same meal, whatever the same fruit at the same meal. Okay, and after a fruit fast meal, water may be consumed 2 hours after the meal and 30 minutes before the next meal. So you're going to be drinking a lot of water. Some people are drinking probably 3 or 4, men are drinking probably 4 litres of water during the day. Now this is flushing their body out. Now you might say, with this type of diet, the simple fruit sugars are easily handled by their digestive system. The simple fresh fruit strengthens the immune system's lymphocytes to fight against cancer cells while giving strength and energy to the digestive organs. In addition, many fruits act as a diuretic which stimulate the body to expel waste, and the fruit fast is beneficial for people who do a lot of mental work, for those with weak digestive functions and people with illnesses. Okay, with diabetic patients, they can eat fruit. Now, this is what amazed me. I'd heard about this fast probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I hadn't heard of it since before that. And I met a woman who came to Australia. She learnt it from a Korean woman. And she came to Australia and I visited her and talked to her. Now, since then, I've known there's been a group of people who are running these programs for a group of people together. And I rang this young woman up on Friday because I tried to contact her for quite a while, and she didn't answer the phone. But finally, I got onto her on Friday because she's been instrumental in managing and organising these fasts and being like coordinating them and taking the people and telling them what to expect. And I said, tell me, what happens to a diabetic? She says, diabetics are just not to use the very high sugar fruit. For instance, if they were going to have apples, they would use Granny Smith apples. But the critical thing for the diabetics is after the meal, they all have to do a half an hour's walk. Now, we're not talking about exercise in physical, we're just a walking exercise. Just movement. Get movement. They've got to move for a half an hour after their meal. If that happens, all of their blood sugars come level. I said, what about high blood pressure? She says, this is the diet for high blood pressure. She said she's seen countless people having high blood pressure coming down after they go on it. And as I said, why I like this one is because it's less expensive. It's doable for people. And it's not that hard. It's not hard to have 2 pieces of fruit and if you chew it for a really long time, you actually it doesn't pass through you as quickly and you're a lot more satisfied. Okay, so most diabetic patients may stop using medications or insulin. If you have a build-up of fluid in the abdomen, continue with fruit fast until your swelling in the stomach is gone. So there's lots, and she said they're having fantastic results. Many people, she said, they've had cancers reversed, they have had a lot of skin problems, eczemas, all those things reversed. With illness in the liver, it's very important to prevent accumulation of toxins, therefore minimise stress, abstain from alcoholic drinks, eat healthy food in a simple manner and refrain from overeating and eating between meals and being active. Now, the thing that I wanted to share with you, when I was talking with this young woman, and she's actually been here, last year she sat into some of these meetings because she's a local girl. And she's gone away and she's learned how to do this. And I rang her up and I spoke to her the other day, and all of a sudden she says, oh, she's coming home. She's working over in Western Australia at the moment. And she said she's coming home in July. She's got a certain window of time in July. And she said, and I just talked about different things and I've talked how she's helped some of these people, and they're having phenomenal success with them. And she said to me, I was thinking about this over the last day, yesterday. Last night I decided to text her, and I said to Kelly, I said, we could get a group of people together who would be interested in doing this. Would you be willing to come over and do it? She said it's a 10-day program, or it's 9 days. You start on a Sunday and you finish on a Tuesday. Would you be willing to come over and do it over here? And she texted me back last night. She says, I'll let you know in the morning. So she rang me up this morning, not long before I came down here, and she says, yes. She said, we'd love to do it. So if anybody is interested in doing a cleanse, a supervised cleanse, with a fruit cleanse, let me know. And I said, well, what's the cost? She said, well, depend on the accommodation. She said, we've got to work out the accommodation. It would go from July the 9th to July the 18th, I think it is, a Sunday to the Tuesday. That's the second week in July. And she said, but we've got to find a place to run it at. And where's that? Well, that would be great. I rang, but I've got to find out if it's available then.
So July 9 to
18, which is the Tuesday. It goes from a Sunday to a Tuesday. And if you're interested, and I said, well, what's the cost? And she said, well, it would depend on the cost of the accommodation. But she said, some of the places, she said it's costing them $300 for the whole 10 days. $300 to $400.
And you stay
on campus. There's on campus. It's on, you stay in. It's a Christian-based program too. So they're going to bring God into it. But she said, we're having so much success. We have seen so many amazing miracles with it, turnarounds of people. So if you're interested, I've got here, Sunday 9th of July to Tuesday, July 18. And I've got a list of paper here. Maybe, Bernice, you can write their names down and their phone numbers. If anyone wants to put their name down, it doesn't mean to say you're going to come, but if you're interested, I would need to find out. She needs to know how many are interested, and we'll find out from there. We can work it out there if we can find a venue, and if it can come together, great. If not, we're going to have to wait till November or December.
That'd be better for me. I don't like the winter to do anything.
Yes, but we're going to work on a window of opportunity here.
I know.
Yeah. And You could, absolutely. You could do it. You can do it more than once. You'd get phenomenal results. I have a friend, she did this program, and she's very crippled with rheumatoid arthritis. And she said that her arthritis came out. I mean, I don't even know if we will be doing it one. This is the only one that I've sort of thought of. It's just to pull it all together. And you don't wait for another one to come, because there mightn't be another one.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's moving around. So if you're interested in it, just put your names down so we'll find out if you're interested, because I just think, well,
I might be looking after grandchildren.
yeah, well, that's true.
So it's 24/7, you don't leave.
You live on there. You don't want to leave, because, you know,
I'm waiting for this to come along, but the timing might be wrong.
yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. But you can, this is actually designed that you can do in person's home too. It's not an impossibility. You could do it with 3 or 4 or whatever. But because she's coming over, it's nicer to do it in a larger group. She's coming, and she actually has said to her mother she would love to come and do this in Albury. She said, I would love to. I'd often dreamt that. And she said, when I rang her up and spoke to her, she got quite excited about it. So it's just, but this was like on the spur of the moment, as of last night and to today. And then I thought, look, I would like to offer it to you, that there's a possibility. I'll tell her back that we've got X amount of people interested. And so that she can, that she could start putting it all into, because she says, oh, I know I've got to ask some people to come along and help. She's already got somebody who she thinks she could be a cook and all that sort of stuff. And because
it's just on fruit for that whole.
no, through 3 days, and then you bring it. You go on to normal just food. If it's only 3-day fruit.
You know, I'm just thinking of that venue and the facilities they have there.
Yeah, it would be ideal if I thought of that too. So yeah, because it's nice, but it's not over the top. But it's warm, and it's a place.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
So, Kate,
Yes.
only fruit for 3 days, then what are the other 7?
The other days you eat just nice food, but you eat very healthy food.
Yes. That sounds
Would
good
they
to
be
me.
doing massages and
No, there is no treatments. The only treatment that they may use is if someone gets a headache, they will do a foot bath for them to get, if they're coming off caffeine or sugars or whatever.
the day is spent just educating people about
Education, it's mainly education.
that's okay.
Mainly education. So it's just something I'm throwing out there. If you're interested, pop your name down. If you're not interested, that's fine. But as I said, I don't know if there'll be any more. I have no idea. But I just thought I'd just ask her, because she said, I'd love to come over there. And when she said that, over to here to run it, and she said, oh, yeah, well, hopefully it'll all come together. If it doesn't, well, so be it. But, yeah.
It's
But
always the summer then.
well, that's true, but I actually find in my thinking, I don't even think ahead to summer. Anything could happen between now and summer.
Exactly.
You know, anything can happen. Yes?
During those days, is there sort of like other programs or discussions going on?
It's mostly education. There's cooking education. I can't tell you exactly. You'd be notified what's going to. That's it. Thank you.
The cleanse to the body.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Obviously, what would you do? Just sit around and...
There's a lot of education, and there's a lot of exercise, and there's stretching and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you'd be walking. Yeah, there would be all that involved in it too. Exactly. Okay, so we'll bring this to close. So there's different ways to fast: juice fast, water fast, fruit fast, and intermittent fast. You choose which one you do. But then you can just do a temperate fast, means just eat just very healthy. Like, as I said, whole food. Do you know what? Did you know that you eat twice a day, like Peter and I do? Did you know that in your body, the autophagy only starts 12 hours after your meal, last meal. So if you're eating your last meal at 6 o'clock at night, your autophagy, when your body starts doing all this cleansing, doesn't kick in until 6 o'clock in the morning. And then if you're having breakfast at 7 a.m, guess what happens? Your body's hardly had a chance to cleanse. That's why it's ideal if you can get into a 2 meal a day and not eat of an evening. But if you eat, some people have it 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. That's fine. But it doesn't suit my lifestyle to do it at 9 o'clock and 3.
Kay, I have a friend who's just had heart surgery. It's hereditary heart surgery.
Yes.
Now, her specialist in Melbourne has told her that she must fast for 18 hours so that the heart can refuel itself and
Yes.
rebuild itself. Now, that came from the surgeon.
Okay, so her surgeon said she's got to fast for 18. Well, you see, we're fasting for 18 hours every day. Our last meal, let's just say it's at 1 o'clock. And we're not eating again until 7 in the morning. We've done that like for 30 years.
Well, this lady runs a restaurant, so she says, I have to be around food and I'm not allowed to eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is hard. I know when you're tasting. Although I know that Lisa, a friend of ours, she's a chef, and she would cook, and she said she'd cook up things and she'd get some of her peers to taste it, because she didn't taste it. She wasn't eating between meals. Remember, one of the things that breaks down your health is eating between meals.
He said it rebuilds the heart.
Yes.
That's what he told her. It will rebuild her heart because this is a hereditary condition that she's got.
There you go.
You know, so I just thought that was amazing. I must tell you that.
See, you combine that with hawthorn berry, you combine that with all your stuff, yeah. And I believe everyone, even if you don't have a heart problem, your body cleanses, your body repairs, does this. Okay.
Okay.
Yes?
So if you wanted to go on a juice fast or a fruit fast,
Yep.
if you're taking medication, what? Do you still take, like,
Yes.
what's that?
Yes. Depends what medication you are on. Yeah. You probably find that you have to just alter your dose. I haven't worked too much with people who are on medication, I've got to admit that. But I do know. And she said, as Kelly said, she says we're working with them medically, that we're making sure that everything's fine with everyone who's doing it. And she said, yeah, they can find it easy. Especially the diabetics, because I said to her, what about a diabetic? Because she said it's amazing that when you get up and move after a meal, immediately after a move and walk, she said all of a sudden your blood sugars just balance. Why? Why most people get blood sugar, a high peak of blood sugar after their meal? Because they're not moving around. Okay, we'll bring it to a close here. Next Tuesday, 27th of June at 10 a.m, I'm going to do another one on bread making, slow cooking plus more. I just figured I've got to get you guys there who are by yourselves for nice slow cooking recipes that you can do, for yourself. Like it's hard for a man when they're alone, and plus for a woman who doesn't like cooking. All in the one pot. All in the one pot. That's what I want to do there. And I've got this fantastic book that sometimes you can cook it and you don't even have to pre-soak the legumes. And they've got you do a different ratio of water to it. Okay, so that's on Tuesday. Plus, next month, the first Sunday in the month, I've got a cooking class here. So that's this month, this next month.
On the bread making, is it sourdough?
No, the bread making is the one that I made last Tuesday.
Oh, that's nice.
The life-changing.
No, it's not a life-changing moment. It's the one I had on last Tuesday for the program I had. And you liked that, didn't you? Yeah, it was a gluten-free one, but it was not like any other gluten-free. It looks like proper bread, and it didn't taste like cardboard, did it? Because most gluten-free bread tastes like cardboard. Any other questions?
So where are you doing the courses? Right here, is it?
Yeah, these courses here are right in this hall. And if you want any of that information, they're my website, because Ralph puts them all online. He's my go-to man when it comes to putting them all on.
What's online?
These programs, all these programs I've had.
So Kay's recipe.
That's not the Facebook. It's on Facebook and it's on
I don't
YouTube.
go on Facebook.
Well, it's on YouTube then. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's all. Like if you wanted to find out how to make CDS, and it's all there. How to make CDS. Remember that's that stuff. It's all back there. It's on.
Some CDS
Well, I talked about that earlier.
with the turpentine.
Yeah, next after the turpentine. Yeah, very interesting stuff. As Lorraine smiles. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll leave. I just gave up.
I like that wrap for putting it around the liver.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time.